Shalom, welcome to the 10th video of debates among different Rishonim on Sefer Shemos. This week we're going to be starting Sedrat Beshalach. In fact, we're going to look at the first pasuk in Sedrat Beshalach. It's Perik Yud Gimel, pasuk Yud Zayin. I hope you'll join me. So please, open up your Chumashim. The pasuk says as follows: Vahi Beshalach Paro, es Avlo Nichem Elohim Derech Eretz Plishtim Ki Karovhu, Ki Amar Elohim Pen Yinachem Am Barosa Mechama V'Shava Mitzrayim. When Hashem sent out the Jews from Egypt, so Hashem didn't allow them to go a short route that would have taken them by the nation of the Plishtim, even though it was closer. Because Hashem said maybe what will happen is that they'll see the Plishtim, they'll get scared of them, and then they'll go ahead and return back to Mitzrayim. Now, what's interesting is the phrase our Rishonim pick up. We're going to look at the Chizkuni and the Ibn Ezra. They pick up on the phrase pen Yinachem. Maybe they'll go back. And the obvious question you have is Hashem knows that they're going to, whether they'll go back or not. So how is it that that they didn't? How is it that Hashem said maybe they'll go back, lest they go back? We don't want them to go back, but Hashem would have known if they went back or not. So let's look at the Chizkuni. It's a large comment, but we're going to just look at a portion of it. We're looking at Divrei Hamaschil Ki Amar Elohim Pen Yinachem Ha'am. Okay, so that's Ki Amar Elohim Pen Yinachem Ha'am. If you can't find it, so pause the video and look for it. Okay, here we go. Ein lahar al pasuk zeh. Right, you shouldn't think like heretical thoughts that Hashem didn't know that what was happening. Ki galui v'yadua shebiyado l'nchosenu gam derech eretz plishtim lo yishavu Mitzrayim. He knows Hashem would have known if they could have gone through Mitzrayim, through Plishtim. Hashem could have taken them that way. Al keneged midas hadin shahaisa mekatreges alhem l'nosam im yashuvim lo yashuva. Rather, this is referring to what we call God's strict sense of justice. Right. So what does that mean? So he says, he goes on. He says, Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, Kach galui lefanayim, im yu menusim v'lo yamdu b'nisaya. Hashem says, I know, it's revealed to me, because He knows everything, including the future, that if I do test them and bring them by way of the Plishtim, they're not going to succeed. V'dugma zu parak Parshas Bereishis, right? So he gives an example from Parshas Bereishis. So the Chizkuni says, what does it mean that Hashem said, maybe they'll go back? Right, so sort of like a questioning statement, as if Hashem didn't know. So he explains that Hashem is judging us according to His strict justice. And Hashem only tests Bnei Israel and individuals when He knows that they're going to succeed. Hashem knew here that they wouldn't succeed against the test, meaning that they would go back to Mitzrayim, and therefore He didn't test them, and He didn't bring them by way of the Plishtim. The Ibn Ezra takes a different approach. He says, Pen Yinachem Ha'am. If you look at the end of the Ibn Ezra's comments on this pasuk, he says, Ki Dibra Torah Koloshon Bnei Adam. Right? So it's not literal, and as the Torah uses language that we can understand. So Hashem knew that Bnei Israel would turn back, so He uses this phrase. Now the question is, what's the debate between the two of them? And that's what you're going to be doing, and that's the real chachma comes in from analyzing this debate between the Chizkuni and Ibn Ezra. I'd love to hear your ideas, and that's what the form is for in the description section of this video. Anyone know what's behind me here? Put that in, because that's also important. And curious why the light hasn't changed and why the clock has stayed the same time during this entire video. Very odd.